So on July 10th, you released your third album. Would you mind saying the title for me?
Sagan om rymden.
And yeah, so I wouldn't have been able to say that quite as well. Can you tell me what it means?
The title?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So here we have a long story. I'm gonna try to keep it a little bit short. Have you heard of a Swedish musician called Bo Hansson?
No, but I would like you to explain who Bu Hansen is and how he influenced both the album and the title.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Bo Hansson is sort of rooted in the late 60s, early 70s. Made quite a few albums, actually. Very instrumental, psychedelic, almost being ambient sometimes. Fantastic musician all over. And both me and Mac have Bo Hansson in common. Actually, we all the band do. We all enjoy him. Sadly, he passed away quite a few years ago. So, Lord of the Rings, you have heard of.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Bo Hansson in the early 70s made an album. In Swedish, Lord of the Rings translates Sagan om ringen. So Bo Hansson releases an album called Sagan om ringen, which is, his version, his musical take on Lord of the Rings, which we all in the band love very much. And the title Sagan om rymden we were at a party actually at our neighbors, the other guitar player and his wife and family. We were having dinner and perhaps having a beer or two, maybe. And my wife sort of we're sitting and discussing sci-fi movies and Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and stuff. And my wife has sort of a brain fart when this is the difficult part because I can't really translate this well. She sort of has mix up with Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, but in Swedish. So she says, well, this movie, Sagan om rymden, which would perhaps in English translate not Star Wars and not Lord of the Rings, but perhaps Star Rings, maybe. And she's got these two movies mixed up, Sagan om rymden, and both me and Mac looked at each other and goes like, holy crap, that's a cool title. What should we do with it? Should we make it a song? Should we make another band? Or should it be, the next Kingnomad album? So we sort of meditated on that for a little while, quickly decided, let's call the next album Sagan om rymden, make it a vaguely concept piece about space, at the same time giving a homage to the late and great Bo Hansson with the title. At the same time going back to my roots musically more, more of the 70s sound, not so heavy, not a lot of fast guitars, just 70s psychedelic ish rock with the tip of a hat to Bo Hansson. And I think that's pretty much the story.
So, in a nutshell, the title of the album is both a tribute to Bu Hansen and the influence that he had on you, as well as a little bit of a pun on the name of his album. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty fair. Yeah.
So you mentioned wanting to move away from the faster parts and moving more to a more psychedelic sound. So in comparing this album to your previous work, would you say that's the major difference?
No, there's a huge difference between these two albums. Our second album, The Great Nothing, that was my attempt to make a huge conceptual piece, which I don't think anyone got. I don't think to this day anyone really understands that album, which is okay. That's okay, no problem. You know, conceptual piece in the way that you have returning melodies, the lyrics, the things you hear in the intro, you can hear later on in the album. There's themes going on all over the place. And the B side is, just one big song chopped up into 3 other songs with a major theme going through the whole thing. And we have the album ends like it began in a way. I have old friends making guest appearance on it. I have friends that I have sort of we fell out for many years, and I reconnected with a friend, and he came to play on the album. My kids are on the album. My wife sings on that album. It's the concept is a little bit spiritual. It's sort of grabs my life, the things I believe and the things I don't believe up to that point when that album is done. So it's a very, very personal album. It's a very conceptual album, and no one got it. Okay, fuck it. So with this album, I wanted to make a simpler album. I wanted to make ordinary songs. I thought, I'm not gonna have 10 different themes going on repeat on different songs. I'm not gonna have a lyrical concept either, but in the end, there is a vague concept on it, absolutely. But I wanted to make a simpler album in one way. I wanted to make simpler songs, shorter songs that people maybe could grasp a little easier. So I think it's a huge difference sound wise. It's a huge difference too, because I have always done everything myself. I have mixed the album. I haven't mastered the album, but I have always mixed the songs and all that. So I didn't do that either. I left the mixing part to a very good friend of mine, and he did a great job. So the sound is also different to a certain point. So 2 really completely different albums, definitely. But Sagan om Rymden, of course it became a little bit of a conceptual piece, but not in the way that The Great Nothing was. The Great Nothing was, The Wall with Pink Floyd. Sagan om Rymden is more like Keeper of the Seven Keys with Halloween, if you want to, talk concepts.